Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense, aka Three Peaks Trading. And I did a video earlier this week talking about returns, talking about how even starting with $500, it is actually possible to trade your way to $1 million plus. And in that video, I used this number, the 62.4%. And that number was based off of, I don't know what all this is. That number was based off of a 30% win rate with a 5-to-1 reward to risk system and taking 104 swing/position trades per year, which gave a net R of 83.2. So if you look at this, 83.2, minus 25% of taxes, these are the numbers that I talked about in that last video. I wasn't going to get too far into the tax side, but I decided to shoot a quick update to that. I know some countries, again, don't tax capital gains. So if you're in one of those countries, that's amazing for you. If you're in the U.S., I'm not a tax advisor. So this is not tax advice. This is just to open your eyes. You'll go do some due diligence, maybe speak to a tax professional. That would be a good idea. But typically speaking, if you qualify to invest in a Roth IRA, there's some income limits, but they tend to be pretty high. Unless you're earning six figures or more, that's, normally you're not going to have a problem. But if you can invest into a Roth IRA, then you can actually set yourself up to trade tax-free, okay? Because the way a Roth IRA works is you put money into it after tax income, goes into this Roth IRA account, and then when you eventually cash it out, as long as you meet the requirements, for example, being 59 and a half years old, you don't pay income tax on your withdrawals. So this is what I want to talk about. Again, we were doing this 83.2, but this last video was saying after taxes. So what would happen if you could trade tax-free, for example, in maybe a Roth IRA type of account? Well, it doesn't seem like a big difference until you look at the math. It's actually a massive difference. So it would take roughly 16 years in this first example to go from $500 to over $1 million in your account. But if you were not having to pay out taxes every year, you would actually be able to go from $500 to just over 1.3 million in 13 years with the exact same win rate, the exact same everything, just without having to, give your pound of flesh to the government every year. And you can see that not only do you get to the seven-figure mark much quicker in this hypothetical example, 3 years quicker, you're actually a little higher on income. And then it just starts to really compound from there. If you look at this, by the time you reach year 16 in the second column, we're looking at over $8 million in an account versus $1.1 million in that first column. Again, the only difference being this column is not eating, those capital gains taxes every year. So I'm not going to make this video super long, and I'm not going to start giving, tax advice or anything, because I'm certainly not qualified to do so. Ironically, when I did go to college many years ago, before I dropped out, I was going to college to be an accountant, but realized I could make more money skipping college and going right into the workforce than what I would have made as an accountant. So that's the reason that I never finished school. Do your own due diligence. If you have a family member or somebody that's, a CPA or a friend, maybe reach out to them, or, the very least, get online and do your own research and look into this, type of stuff, because it makes a huge difference. And again, these numbers here are just based off of, if you put in $500 to start it and then you never add more money to the account. But the way like a Roth IRA account works is you can contribute to it every year as long as you meet the qualifications. And there's other tax loopholes out there as well. Roth IRAs aren't actually a tax loophole. They're actually meant for this. They're meant so people can build retirements. And if you are somebody that's over the income limits, you can do another type of IRA and then basically do like a backdoor to get into a Roth, which is a little bit more complicated, but I just want you to know, if you are a high earner, don't fret. There's still ways for you to get money into a Roth IRA. You just need to talk to a tax professional to explain the details to you. So one last thing before I wrap the video up. Let's say that you're not getting these returns. I just kind of want to show you, like, let's say that you're only doing like, say, 25% win rate and your R drops down to 52. You're still in such great shape. So if you're winning 1 out of 4 trades with a 5R system, if you're getting 52 R, and again, let's just say hypothetically that you're able to do this, and hypothetically you're able to, not pay capital gains taxes, 52%. Let's see what happens here. 2. So there you go, right? So even if you're only getting 52%, make sure my math is all right here. It looks like you can still get to that 7-figure mark, within 20 years. And 20 years, unfortunately, it goes by really fast. If, somebody told me that it went by as fast as it has, I certainly would not believe them. My daughter just graduated high school this year. She's my youngest. My stepsons are both in their 30s now. And I came into their lives when they were just little kids, 11 and 12 years old. So pretty wild how fast it goes. But, if you were somebody like me who didn't get started early in life, I did not start investing in anything outside of business until I was in my mid-30s. I think I was about 35 when I made my first investment into something other than a business. My mindset used to be, why would I invest in the market and get 10% a year, before I learned how to trade, when I could invest in businesses and get a much bigger return? And sometimes that was the case. Sometimes I would invest a few $1,000s and make back, 20x of when I invested. But there were other times in business, for example, one specific business where I put out, over $100,000 and I actually lost money, So like anything else, business, there's pros and cons. There are huge return, opportunities in business, but there's also huge loss opportunities. And in business, normally there's a lot of work involved, right? Businesses don't typically start themselves without a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Whereas with trading, once you get it down, it's actually quite a bit less work than a business is. And I say that as somebody who still owns multiple businesses today, okay, both offline and of course online. So there you have it. I'll wrap the video up there. Please remember that I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which means that obviously I am not a tax advisor and I am not a financial advisor. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional tax and financial advice from licensed professionals before making any type of investment in the cryptocurrencies, the stock market, Forex, or any other tradable asset. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And of course, leave me a comment. I always enjoy hearing from people, even if they have a different take on things than I do. And last but not least, please remember to trade safe. I'll see you all in the next video.